Hello there. Hey, everybody. Yes, mixed it up today, Chris. Yes, welcome back to
Nice.
the Paid Search Podcast. My name is Jason Rothman. As always, I'm joined by the fake and the real, but they're both great Chris Schaefer. Chris, I say that because you're fake. You've got a collar on, but you showed me before the show, and if you're open to showing everyone on camera, you've got the real Chris Schaefer a few buttons down with that nice V-neck T-shirt. There it is.
Right
That's
there.
the real Chris.
Yeah.
He just put this
Yeah.
thing on 5 minutes before the show.
Yeah. And that's why you do the pearl snap. It's instant on and off. And for some men, Jason, instant shirt on and off is a necessity and
Crucial.
something I prioritize. So yeah, happy to be sharing.
I'm sorry, Chris.
Our,
I don't like saying anything but the great Chris Schaefer. I love saying it every single week. And I'm
oh,
joined by the great Chris
okay.
Schaefer, because that's your full name, Chris. So it's good to see
Okay.
you. But I just had to point out the shirt because last week we talked about the collar being gone. Now it's back. How you doing?
And the beard. Personal request from my wife. She liked it. She liked it. I hated it because I keep like licking and there's like hair in my mouth and I really don't like. I don't know how you deal with it, Jason, but I was super self-conscious about eating every time like something's
Yeah,
in my
that
beard,
happens,
something,
yeah.
And I don't even. You can't even really call this a beard. I mean, this is just like a little scrub brush or something. I mean, it's like it's really not much, but
It looks good.
well, thank you. Thank you.
Your hair looks good. Your hair looks like you're about 4.5 days away from needing a haircut, but you're at that peak point of
Yeah,
hair where it's like
when
this. If I could just have this forever, this will be absolutely
yeah.
perfect. It bounces, it's long, but you don't need a haircut yet. You're looking
Yeah.
good, Chris, is my point.
Well, thank you. Thank you. That's what I strive for on a audio podcast, to look my best. And that's why I'm here. And Jason, I always need to know, do people like us? Do people appreciate the show? Do you have anything to encourage me to keep me here?
Yeah, we do, from Great Britain.
Oh.
And as always, we do the geography on the show. So I could ask you to explain the difference between the United Kingdom, England, and Great Britain. But we
No.
don't have to do that because we already know. We all know.
Right.
But this review from Apple Podcast, 5-star review of the week, love it, comes from Big Fat Roaz. That's what we all try to get here as Google Ads advertisers. Comes from Apple Podcast, and it's from Great Britain. And he or she says, just found this podcast and now wondering how quickly I can listen and absorb the last 300. Well, you can get episodes 1 through 100 on our website on the archive for a very cheap price. And then episodes 200 through today, they're out there on the podcast players, and it's pretty much as fast as you can listen to them. One of the best learning resources I have come across. I'd be curious what the other ones are, if we're one of the best, but it is a 5-star review, so we do appreciate it. But there's some praise and love for us, Chris.
Probably Big Fat Roaz is referring to movie reviews or something. I mean, like other resources, but not in Google Ads. I don't think that there's anybody that delivers the punch that we do.
Yeah,
I think that's unique.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I want to remind you about checking out Optio. They are why we are here, because they keep us going. When I wake up in the morning, I take my shot of Optio, and I can keep going because they are the fuel to my Google Ads management. They are an online software that help me get through my daily tasks. And I've been doing Google Ads a long time. Jason has been doing a long time in Google Ads. And sometimes these tasks can be very repetitive. And, there's a point when you start to dull some of your sharpest management skills. You start to lose, I don't want to check this or check that. This tool can help you burn through that so much faster. And that's the thing that we all have, is limited time. And you want to get more done in Google Ads. Optio is the tool. That's opteo.com/PSP. It's the tool that can help you get more done in Google Ads, from ad copy to search terms to keywords to bids to alerts about your budget spends and negative keywords. It has everything you need. Please try it. If you like this podcast, like Big Fat Roaz just said, you can help us out by trying a free trial for 60 days. You can try a free trial for 8 weeks, and that's twice as long as you get if you just sign up without this special URL of optio.com/PSP.
Okay, thanks, Chris. So today we're going to be talking about stress inside of Google Ads accounts and how to eliminate it and get it as low as possible, because that's definitely a very, very important thing to do. Chris, I know for you, just talking about stress in general, sounds like CrossFit is the way you eliminate stress.
You know, you pump out a few PRs and the world just flattens out. You know, you're at the peak.
Yeah.
You know, when you're at the peak looking down after a massive PR break, you know, it's not so bad. You know, you're just looking down and it's just beautiful.
Chris Schaefer on that drive home from CrossFit, that must be a pretty relaxed guy.
I don't want to talk or see anyone because I'm usually like, I need my chocolate milk and I need a shower and I'm tired.
But that's good. You're not worried about anything else. You're just worried about the essentials.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Chris, for myself, I am building a gym in my garage. And I'm also building a shop. And part of that process is starting with clearing out the garage. So every day I've been starting with clearing out the garage and working on that project and then exercising. And I got to say, stress levels are down tremendously. And it feels good just to do something tangible with your hands and also get some exercise in and then sit down at the Google Ads accounts and do some great work. So that's what's been working for me.
Nice. Can't wait to meet up and we'll do a sesh together.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Now, that's life stress or strategies for eliminating stress in real life. Let's talk about Google Ads life.
Yeah, there you go.
Would you agree that stress can come about for a lot of Google Ads advertisers and people involved, whether it's the managers, agencies, advertisers, whoever?
You could have a perfect account and everything go perfectly, and a new competitor comes in. You've done everything right. A new competitor comes in, changes your click-through rate, changes your conversion rate, changes your CPCs, and that would lead to increased stress. So even the perfect managers in the world that are doing everything right, absolutely, stress is a regular part of Google Ads management. You can't avoid it.
You have that situation. You have situations where there's updates inside of Google Ads. Some we know about. I think some we don't know about. I think a lot of times they test things. I'm sure they do all the time.
Sure.
And you might be part of a test and wondering why something looks a little bit different. And then I think people is a big factor too, Chris. I think a lot of people possibly work for people that don't understand Google Ads, and that can lead to a lot of stress as well. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about ways you can try to eliminate that stress. And so we're going to give stressful scenarios or scenarios that lead to stress for certain people and advertisers. And then we're going to talk about how we handle it and how we eliminate that stress. And the whole point of it is, number one, who wants to be stressed out in general? It's not healthy. And there's stress in any kind of job. So this is like work-related stress that can come about. No one needs that. It doesn't help anybody. And then the second thing is it also really impacts the performance of the account. And if you can eliminate that stress, you can get back to the basics, which is on focusing on performance. Then you can make money for everyone involved, and that can lead to less stress as well. So it really can impact the performance as well. And
to if you don't believe Jason, you think, oh, this isn't going to really apply to me. Maybe stress isn't the term. Imagine that we're going to be talking about overreacting or over managing. You know, replace stress with people who over manage their accounts. I mean,
dumb decisions.
Yeah, making dumb decisions in Google Ads can be the result of things that we're going to go through here, and it happens because you don't have these core things in mind that we're going to run through. I mean, there are so many things that if you don't keep your eyes focused on, what your task is in Google Ads, you can be a victim of overmanagement, stress, dumb decisions, whatever you want to call it.
Okay, Chris, so let's start with search terms and how they can eliminate stress. I'm going to make a claim. I'm going to come out and say
Okay.
the absolute most important part of Google Ads is search terms. First of all, I know that's a big statement. Do you agree with it exactly, generally, or you don't agree with it? Search terms are the most important part of Google Ads.
I agree. I was thinking, what about ad copy? Because I don't think immediately search terms trumps keywords, because search terms determine what matches to the person that's searching. So it definitely trumps keywords. But is it more important than ad copy, which is the only thing the person sees?
I would say yes, because if you're on the wrong search terms, you're
What's your
toast.
what's your ad? So yeah, I agree. I agree that search terms are absolutely the most important thing for search campaigns.
Do you want to talk YouTube today? Do you want to talk display keyword campaigns, or do you want to talk about what we talk about 99.99% of the time? I don't like that comment.
I just sometimes it's important.
You like
to
to
be
clarify.
Clear.
Okay.
Clear.
Sure.
Yes.
Sure. No, I hear you. So if they are the most important part of a Google Ads account, then I think a lot of stress can come from that area, or it can be eliminated with that area search terms. And for those that don't know, keywords are what you target inside of Google Ads, or what you choose to target. And then that targeting that you choose with keywords and match types, and how Google system is running at that point in time with their definition of match types, will all determine what searches you show up on. And those are search terms, what people see when they click on your ads on phones and computers. The actual searches users do right now, we can probably see an average of maybe 60% of them account to account. It used to be 100%. Different story for a different day.
Yeah.
Looks like that led to some stress previously, Chris. But let me ask you this. I'll just put an open question. It's not a good situation when an advertiser is not happy, whether it's your boss or a client or the business owner themselves. When they're not happy with performance, that can cause stress. So how could you use the search terms report to eliminate stress and get answers for how to improve your performance?
I would align it with this. Let's say that me and my smoking hot wife are driving along, and she says
Agreement, by the way.
absolutely. And she says that I'm going on the wrong road. Okay. And I am questioning where I'm at, right? I feel like search terms is the GPS map that I open and confirm that, I'm not sure where we are, right? But I know I'm on this road. Maybe I'm zoomed in too close. I can only see that I'm on this road and I'm headed northwest. Okay. I can see that, and that's what we should be doing. Now, if I zoomed out further, I might be able to see how far I am between point A and point B. I don't know how much further we have to go. Let's imagine, all I can see is I'm just going on a certain road in a certain direction. That's what I feel like search terms do for Google Ads Manager, a Google Ads owner, whoever's managing the account. It's a compass to tell you, what are you getting for your money? When you spend $1, what do you get in return? I feel like it's the compass of Google Ads. I mean, it tells you what you get.
For sure. I think the way that kind of relates to more technical language inside the account is, you can ask yourself, and as an advertiser, are these searches being done by people that want my product or service?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
If they are, then and if they truly are, if like 80-90% of your search terms are just spot on stuff where the person is looking for exactly what you are selling, then search terms are not your problem. And we can't totally eliminate the stress and say, we can't tell you what is causing the poor performance. At that point, we would have to look into other areas of the account. But at least the most important part of Google Ads, what searches you're showing up on, are not your problem, and you're showing up on the right searches. So now, instead of being stressed, you can know what direction you need to go in. Your compass, as you were saying, Chris, is telling you where to go, and you can look at your website. Does my website promise, or does it deliver what my ads and my keywords are promising? Is my website slow, or is my ad copy misleading? Or let me double check the settings, the location settings. Am I in the right place? All that kind of stuff. So it can point you in other directions and away from search terms being the problem. If search terms are your problem and you look at those search terms and you go, oh, this is what I'm paying to show up on, these people are not looking for what I'm offering. And I think most of the time, Chris, when there's a problem, you're showing up on related searches, but it's not truly someone looking for what you offer. Maybe they're related to your industry. Instead of movers near me, you're showing up on moving truck rental. And it's like, well, that's related to moving, but this is not someone looking for a mover. At that point, you can zoom out, like you were saying, Chris, and look at the keyword column on that search terms report. Add that column in there and go, what keyword is causing me to show up on this search? And you can go, oh, that's a broad match keyword. Maybe I shouldn't be running on broad match this early into a campaign. Or I've got the word moving as a phrase match keyword and I'm showing up on moving truck rental. Maybe I should show up on geo keywords like moving companies near me. And so it can point you in the right direction. It's the most important thing. And if you're stressed about Google Ads and the poor performance you're getting, run to the search terms report. Yeah. Now, Chris, let's talk about match types. I would say advertisers should know what year it is and understand how loose Google is with some match types these days. And my theory is that leads to a lot of stress where you think you're targeting the right keywords, but they're not coming in as the right search terms. We just talked about that. One reason could be match types. So talking to clients when you do consulting, talking to clients where you manage their accounts, just seeing performance of your accounts. Do you associate match type with poor performance or stress, or do you not run into that?
That's a good, I can't equate it. No, I do not associate match type with stress because there have been too many times that I have seen absolutely meticulously detailed accounts where the person is seeing everything crumble and fall apart. And then I see what should be an absolute mess just work phenomenally well and just print money for the company. So no, I don't think that match types equate to poor. It just, I would never say if you have broad keywords, you suck at Google Ads. You're failing. No,
some of the best performance I've gotten in recent months has been from pure broad keywords. We got to be open to that.
And the opposite. Just because you have I have all exact match. I have absolutely seen failing accounts because, one example, you don't know exactly how people are going to search. And your assumption for exactly how they're going to search and what the right customer is for you, and by choosing an exact match of exactly that and deciding what micro section of the funnel you're going to pull people out of,
and how those people are going to connect with this advertiser, this website, in this point in time.
You have no idea.
Chris, I would say the one area that comes to mind, now I would say match types can lead to stress relief because match types have been so open with like the expanded phrase match and now broad match is working very well sometimes. It can lead to stress relief because it gives you options.
I was going to say, explain what you mean, because you said earlier, explain what you mean by know what year it is.
What with match types, like know what year it is? Yeah, you need to know what year it is. So that's probably why you're not experiencing stress with match types, because in the recent year, Google Ads in recent years, they've expanded what you can show up on with exact match keywords, what you can show up on phrase match keywords and broad match. Just generally, things have been a little more opened up because they understand more about the search user and they feel confident showing you on more searches. They also understand more words in their system. And so if you're advertising for moving companies near me, and that's your keyword phrase match, and someone does a search mover compy, COMPY, and they have a typo near me, right. Google understands that movers is related to moving, and they understand that compy means company, or whatever the example was. So their system understands more, so you can show up more. Now, oftentimes that leads to showing up on good things like the spot on search I just mentioned that had a typo, but it can also lead to searches that aren't totally related to what you want individually as an advertiser. And then the bigger change is the expanded, updated phrase match, where phrase match is acting like a lot more like the broad match modified used to be. It's a lot more open. And so instead of searches that are include that exact phrase with anything before or after it, you're now basically showing up on related searches. I would say, or I should take that back. I think that's broad. You're showing up on relevant searches, what Google deems to be relevant to your keyword, even if it doesn't include your phrase. What happens, Chris, is I'm hearing from some advertisers that maybe they managed their own account 3 years ago. They stopped advertising on Google Ads. They want to get back into it. They turned on an account 3 months ago, and they're losing their mind because they don't understand why these phrase match keywords with only 1 or 2 words in them are performing so poorly. And I think that's what I mean by know what year it is. Know that phrase match has been updated and expanded. The good news about it is they can give you more options if you understand all the match types. I think the one stressful situation I have, Chris, it's acute stress. It's very specific stress, and it's stressful because you'll be running. You have a list of great keywords. You understand what year it is, and so your phrase match keywords have 3, 4, or more words in the phrase, and you're confident that you're giving enough information to Google to show you on good searches. Generally, your search terms look great, but you're noticing 1 or 2 bad ones, so you add some negatives and problem solved, you think. But what I've realized over time is that in unexpected ways, long phrase match keywords with 3, 4, 5 words in them, sometimes if they have the wrong kind of word that Google's system doesn't understand or understands incorrectly, you'll show up on some really horrible search terms. And you may not catch it because you're only looking at the search terms, and there's a bunch of search terms and you don't realize they're all coming from the same keyword. And then finally you figure it out and you highlight search terms for just that one keyword, and you're like, oh, this is not even closely related. And wow, I'm using one word in this phrase match that I didn't happen to be using in any of the other ones.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what's going on. So I've seen that kind of situation. And the reason I say it's acutely stressful is because it's hard to figure out sometimes, even for an experienced Google Ads manager, because it's a little bit of a needle in the haystack. So I guess how do you solve it? I guess you really got to, just the way you look at your search terms and you're like, let me look at line by line. You got to look at your keywords that way too. If your performance is bad, and go, let me look at the specific search terms for this keyword that has a word in it that's not in anything else. And let me see if that's tripping up the system. I've seen that situation. And I think you agree with it.
Yes, I agree. I think it's very well said. I have nothing.
That's okay. One of the wisest people in the world, Charlie Munger, he always tells Warren Buffett at the annual meeting, Buffett will answer a question and Munger will say, I have nothing to add. And they'll go to the next question.
Yeah. And
everyone in the crowd will laugh because they like when he says it. So, Chris, know what year it is. Stop looking for your ads. What do I mean by that?
Oh boy. Again, the year reference. Yeah, it's very true. So to say that the Google Ads auction system is dynamic is an understatement. I would say it needs more adjectives to explain exactly how dynamic it is.
It's galactic. It's outer space. It's stuff we don't understand as human beings anymore because it's not a human being.
It's mathematical.
It's not a human being system anymore. It's literally artificial intelligence and machines learning from machines.
Right. And to think that you can take a incognito window or go to some new computer and
call your employee in another location and say, hey, what do you see on your phone?
Do this search. Yeah. To think that you can do that and get a sample of what's really happening with your Google Ads, I think is a point of stress. I think that is going to stress you out. If you want to reduce your stress and understand what's really happening with your Google Ads and understand why your ad's not showing, don't just do searches for different keywords, different times of the day, on different devices, at different locations. No, use the information and understand the information. Understand what position metrics actually mean. Understand what search impression share means. Understand what the auction insights mean. Understand what your bid being too low, your budget being too low. Understand what those mean, and your stress will go down because your understanding of what's actually happening will go up. That is, I can't tell you. I mean, that's half my job as a Google Ads manager and consultant. Just telling people, here's what's really happening. Doing a session with someone and explaining, this is what this number means, and you think this, but here's what's really happening. And then you know what? They can make a decision. That's what's so great about it. Once you understand it, you can make a decision, and your stress is gone because you're acting on accurate information that you have.
Now, I'm going to add to that. I agree with that. There's a lot that can be explained inside the Google Ads account. Hey, we're going for a medium bid strategy, most clicks overall for the budget. That means we're not going to show up all the time. We lose some impression share due to ad rank. That means we're going to show up low sometimes. But you know what? Let's look at your account. 40% of the time, we're in the absolute top position. That's pretty good. I mean, we're showing up number one some of the time. And you like your cost per conversion, and you don't want to grow your budget. So you're not going to see yourself high up all the time. But look at the data in the account and go off of that. Common scenario, and there's straightforward answers inside of the account that people like you and I give to clients. Now, I'm going to build on that and tell you, in the last year, I've seen situations where we're bidding very, very aggressively. Not only do we not show in the number one position, which is the goal sometimes, we don't show at all. And I have accepted that we are in a new era of Google Ads. And we are in an era where I think two things are happening. Number one, Google's machines know so much about a user that they will flat out choose not to show your ad sometimes. They will flat out choose to show your ad low, even if the settings you have in your account would mean that those two things shouldn't happen and didn't happen in 2017.
Yeah.
On top of that, I think because it's such a dynamic platform, I think there's tests going on all the time. What if we show this ad lower? Do we as a company get more clicks overall, Google? Does this advertiser get more clicks overall and get more business and spend more money? It's a win-win. A lot of stuff like that, I think, happens. And how do you control that or explain that to a client? The answer is you don't and you can't. Yeah. So just as an advertiser, as a business owner, whoever, people in this space, you have to ask yourself a question. Can I accept that or can I not accept that? And the final segment we'll talk about at the end of the show, Chris, is people, and people matter. And you get to choose who you work with in life. And some people can't accept that. The visualization that they see on their phone or their computer for their individual results is so powerful to them that it overrides, one, the theories I just gave, which I think are correct, and two, the actual data in the account. Like, who cares if you don't see your ad? Look, we're spending your full budget, we're controlling what we can, and you're getting profitable business. So why does this matter? Some people can't overcome that, and it can lead to a lot of stress. But if you are open to overcoming it, the reasons Chris gave, the straightforward reasons in the account, and then the reasons I gave, what I would call the new era reasons, all point you in the direction of forget about it. Stop searching for yourself. It's just causing stress, and accept the data that you see inside your account and focus on that for your decision-making. So Chris, let's talk about one more item before we get into our music break here, our dance break. And let's talk about broad keywords. I think broad keywords can cause a lot of stress. Let me ask you, do you agree with that? Have you seen where you're auditing an account and an advertiser didn't even know someone was using a broad keyword and they're furious about it? Have you seen situations where a business owner forgot they had a broad keyword in or didn't realize it, and that's why their search terms are horrible and they forgot to look at their keywords, and maybe that keyword showed up in the 15th level of keywords because it's the other ones get more clicks, but they show as horrible search terms on the search terms report and stress people out? Do you equate broad keywords, not only with success, like we talked about, it's possible, but in some situations, stress. Do you equate broad keywords with some people's stress?
There's no better description of stress than a feeling of a lack of control. And broad keywords are exactly that.
Yeah, it's true.
Right?
That's a great point. Total lack of, well, not total,
lack
but
of control.
As lack of control as it gets.
Yeah. I just did a consulting session with someone who was absolutely just so stressed. She, was getting information from one side saying, look at the conversions. Your cost per conversion is phenomenal.
Oh, we'll talk about that. Yeah. I love that one. Yeah.
Yeah. And on the other side, there, no leads. And that situation, no leads, but there were leads, but it's all crap.
No
It's
business,
all junk.
no paying customers.
Business,
Yeah.
no paying customers.
No money.
And the contributor to that lack of control, the lack of precision in what they were getting, the lack of quality of leads, quality of traffic, all stemmed from broad keywords.
Interesting.
On the other hand, I just launched a campaign for someone who does lead generation for hot water heaters. Okay, hot water heaters.
I love some hot water.
And just very basic thing. Every homeowner, or even rental, needs stuff like that. Someone to buy a new hot water heater. They go out, they need a new one. So it touches a lot of people. Jason, I built this wonderful campaign, and they're like, we need to spend more. We need to go further. So I put together this broad match, high funnel, wide-reaching campaign. It beat my cost per acquisition for my beautiful, well-built campaign by like half.
Love it. Cheap cost per click.
Yeah, because the cost per click was so low, and we maintained about the same conversion rate. So, of course, the cost per conversion was beautiful. So it can go both ways, but I'll tell you, most of the time, it goes bad. Most of the time, broad keywords are very stressful. I don't think they always relate to poor situations, but I think they more commonly relate to stress.
You see how that feels, Chris? You see what you did to me earlier? And I played it off like it didn't bother me. But I want to tell you, don't forget we're doing a podcast here.
Yeah.
And you can ying to my yang every now and then. It won't hurt.
Okay.
Yeah.
Silence is golden.
Not on a podcast.
I thought, when it's on my end, I naturally thought I had an internet problem. I was like, oh, crap.
Yeah.
Because you weren't moving either.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, there it is. Podcast's over. I just lost internet.
Yeah.
So, okay, I can understand.
So I put a little pressure on you, Chris.
Yeah,
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Sometimes you have to teach with examples. Yeah.
Yes, it hurt. It hurt. Please, Daddy, not again.
You got it. So that is your choice if you don't do it again, by the way. It's up to you.
Okay. Thank you.
So totally agree with what you're saying. I did not think about this before the show, but I think we stumbled onto a secret here of how to use broad keywords. It comes down to knowledge and understanding what you're doing. So we have a little bit of a mini great debate about it where I think you're okay with broad keywords in an ad group, a separate ad group. I prefer a separate campaign. But that's two ways of going about the same thing, which is knowing that you're doing it and why you're doing it. So then when the business owner looks in the search terms report, they don't see these crazy searches, which they will see with some broad match. It'll always bring in something like that. And they won't lose their mind because they know that they're doing it. So the knowledge of the plan, having a plan, that's the secret of broad match keywords. Doing it with a plan and having a plan to do it.
Yep.
Then it can be great because it can really work well. And if it doesn't work well, you'll know where to look. And when anyone's looking at the account, they'll know why they're seeing certain things like a crazy low cost per click or a crazy jump in impressions that month or some weird search terms coming in or some weird calls coming in. You're like, hey, we showed up on that kind of search. Why did I get a call about that? If you have a plan, if you're doing it in a planned way with information and knowledge, then it'll definitely work. So let's talk about something else that definitely works, Chris, right after our music break.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I want to remind you about Opteo. That's OPTEO.com/PSP to get your free 8-week free trial to try the tool entirely. There's no limitations. That's one thing that some people misunderstand. It's not a 8-week free trial to try a limited number. You can try everything. The whole tool is open to you, and there's a lot. There's dashboards that you've never seen, and here's the thing. You want to have less stress about Google Ads. We've been talking about less stress. The great thing is you can have less stress because you can be sure that your budgets are on pace to finish properly. You can be sure that you don't have any alerts that are critical. The whole system relies on a first priority, second priority, third priority type of system. So take care of the first priority stuff. Boom, boom, boom. Knock out some ads that are disapproved. You see those. They pop up. They pull your attention to it so that you can see it. This is a smart system. We trust it. You're going to love it. Like many of our listeners have, you're going to end up subscribing and using the tool every day. But hey, start with the free trial, optio.com/PSP.
Great, Chris. Now let's talk about responsive ads. I have seen responsive ads cause some stress for advertisers lately, and I think that's very clear why it would. It's because it's change, and it's change that you don't have control over. Expanded text ads, I should say, at least they'll still run, but the ability to create new ones and the ability to edit existing ones other than pausing and unpausing, that's going to end on June 30th, coming up in a couple months here.
Yeah.
So people naturally are branching out into responsive search ads, and many people are embracing them. We're embracing them, but some people are stressed out about them because they don't think they can get the performance that they've gotten with expanded ads. And I think more so, people just aren't used to them, and it's causing stress. So, Chris, I've got 2 secrets to using responsive ads effectively and how to use them. We've talked about them a lot. There's no need to right now, but you can go very deep on responsive ads. There's a lot of moving parts to it, a lot of things to consider, and stuff like we talked about last week that we're still learning. So it's a very dynamic ad format. But there's 2 simple secrets that I think people should follow. Number 1, people are worried about ad copy and ad copy showing that they don't like in certain spots, or ad copy showing together that they don't like. And here's my simple solution to that, Chris. People need to wake up and take responsibility and realize that all 15 headlines and all 4 descriptions and the 2,114 characters that are on those 15 headlines and 4 descriptions. I did the math in my head. You don't need to check me, Chris. I got it right. And I know you're impressed.
Yeah.
Those 2,000, whatever number I just said, and totally made up. Those characters that you're responsible for, and I like to point it down to the character level to make the point here. You are in full control of your ad copy. So if you're worried about your ad copy, only use ad copy that you like. That's how hard is that, Chris? Only use ad copy you like. Do you like that mindset shift that I don't care what order it shows in? I like all of my headlines and I like all my descriptions. And by the way, you don't have to use 15 headlines. You can use 10, 7, whatever.
Right.
2 descriptions.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I now, whenever I recommend, someone doing responsive ads, I flat out tell them, do not pin.
Yeah.
Don't pin them anymore. Certainly don't pin just one headline. I mean, if you're going to pin a bunch to the first position or something. But yeah, I mean, I flat out just
to be honest with you, what's stressing me out right now is there's a mouse in my kitchen and in my living room. And I've tried for weeks to eliminate it. And the other night, you know where I saw it, Chris?
In your bed.
On the kitchen table.
Oh, gross.
3.5 feet tall in the air.
Oh,
what the heck?
Like standing up or something, like looking at you, or just scurrying?
If he would have lasted long enough to stand up, he would not be here right now.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way. But he scurried off. And so we're dealing with that. And sometimes I lose the train of thought.
Did you just get that
on the
news?
branch there? No. I'm trying to relate this back to Google Ads. I had something very genius to say. And
I was wondering if this is an analogy. I was like, a brilliant, because
this is a brilliant metaphor that was so brilliant. It slipped out of my diamond hands, but I pulled it back in.
Okay, good.
Pinning is a mousetrap for idiots.
Oh.
Google puts out the cheese like, hey, buddy, hey, little advertiser, you think you want to control your ad again? You want to be one of those people and get on our list? Here's a
Oh,
little
man.
button. You can click it and it will turn blue. Let's see what happens to your ads. And they go for that cheese, and then smack comes down on you, and you're trapped,
Wow.
and you get bad performance. Do you like that? Was that worth it?
That is wonderful. I feel like it's a little harsh. I don't think it's. I don't think Google said it as a trap. I feel like it was
I feel like it's a self trap that people don't
self
realize
trap.
just how much they're going against the system. And maybe, obviously, I'm not saying that's Google's intention, because if it
Right.
was, why would they give that feature?
Why would they do it? Yeah.
But I do think advertisers should think about it like that, because it is self sabotaging, and you are restraining and constricting and limiting yourself and damaging yourself, just like a mousetrap does.
Yep.
When you put on the pinning, because it goes against the format of responsive ads. That's both of our belief.
I agree.
Now, maybe we're new. Everyone's new to responsive ads, so maybe.
We've done quite a few weeks on responsive
And you have,
ads.
and you have it. Well, I mean, new in the sense that maybe someone out there in the world is running a pinned ad that performs amazing,
Sure.
but I haven't seen that yet.
It's a brand. It's a brand campaign, and they think it's
yeah,
amazing.
it's got nothing to do with the ad. So basically, you're saying get away from pinning. I'm in agreement with that. I'm open to trying it if you're having trouble, but generally, I think it's a self-sabotage move. The other secret here, Chris, is to do what we do with Google, with every other part of Google Ads. We do this with search terms and keywords and daily budgets and bidding and settings and everything. We balance our needs with the Google Ads system needs. We understand it's not, you're not in full control of anything. Even when you do manual bids, a lot of the time, you're not in full control. They can raise what the market rates are for that industry. Competitors can change their bids. Your quality scores can go down, and the current bids you have don't go as far. Everything is out of our control to some extent. That's not new. We all deal with that. So why are people having a problem balancing the ad grader tool, which we saw last week will affect your performance if it's low and limit your ability to run? How come people are having a trouble balancing Google's needs? They want certain keywords in the ads. They want certain kind of ad copy with your needs, ad copy that you think is going to connect with your unique customer base. Just be open to balancing the two needs and be creative and figure out a way to balance where both parties are happy, yourself and Google. We do it with every other area of Google Ads. So take that mindset into responsive ads. And Chris, those are impeachable statements. You cannot argue with those two secrets for responsive ads. Number one, use data or use ad copy that you like and you're responsible for it, every character. And number two, balance your needs with Google and you'll probably have a really good result.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I have nothing to add.
Well, I appreciate I absolutely agree, because that was a better flow for what we're doing here, a podcast. One other bone to pick with you, Chris. Earlier in the podcast, you said, I don't think people care about my beard or my undershirt because this is an audio podcast.
Yeah.
We have over 5,000 YouTube subscribers that you just personally disrespected.
But, okay.
So let's talk about other disrespectful people here. And let's talk about robotic Google Ads managers at horrible agencies who don't know what they're doing.
Yes.
And basically the situation, I'm going to say one of the most common horrible Google Ads agency and advertiser situations, which is the business owner, the advertiser, the employee at the company is telling the robotic Google Ads manager, hey, we're not getting business. We're not making money from this campaign.
Yeah.
And what does the robotic agency employee say, Chris?
Look at this. Look at your cost per conversion. Look how many conversions. Look how many phone calls you're getting. Look at this beautiful graph. Look at how much month to month we've increased this. It's gone up 34% month over month. That is the language. And to harken back to the partial story that I told earlier about someone that I helped just today, a situation where one shoulder, you're hearing conversions are up It's a beautiful situation. You have so many conversions. I mean, this is great to the point that, we're bragging about it. We're going to put on our website, we're going to put a case study about what we've done for this company on our website.
Yeah.
Like that's how far. And then on the left side, that the actual company that they're getting the leads for is there's a lot of conversions, but every call is junk. Every lead is, someone asking for a different, a competitor. Everything that comes through is unqualified. We can't work with them.
And even if it's not every one, even if it's only 3 out of 10 are actually real leads. And by the way, real leads don't turn into real business on a 1-for-1 basis. So now you're down to, when you see 10 conversions came in, you should actually think of that as actually 3. And then of the 3, not everyone's going to fully be acquired. So that's the situation.
And this harkens back. I mean, in this exact situation, Jason, how I determined where the middle ground was between these two voices of we're not getting anything and you're getting tons, this is why you hear agencies like, I can't believe they fired us. We were doing amazing. I don't know what the problem was. The middle ground is this, and this is to harken back to your number one point that you shared. It came down to the search terms. When I pulled open the search terms, it took me 5 minutes to explain top to bottom why there was tons of conversions, but absolutely no value, because every conversion was a competitor name or people obviously looking for something that this company did, but the company was not interested in selling to that kind of a person, or that kind of a lead, because it was unqualified for them. So both situations were true, and it was happening because conversion was strong, but quality was low. And that was immediately determined in the search terms. And both of those can be equally true at the same time.
That's all correct. And when I think about stress and Google Ads, the first thing that comes to mind are horribly frustrated business owners and company employees that are telling me why they're hiring me. And one big reason is because the previous people they worked for would not hear them or not listen to them. They heard them, but they would not listen to them, that the conversions were no good. And the agency employee was so focused and so impressed that they were getting numbers in that conversion column that the business owner would say things aren't working, and the agency owner would send back, or the agency employee would send back, they are working, you're getting conversions. And you can imagine how frustrated people are. Now, I think part of it is they're speaking 2 different languages, and a lot of times the advertiser doesn't understand, or they don't know how to verbalize it in a dumb robotic way for the dumb robotic person at the agency, that like, hey, I understand people are filling out the lead forms. They're filling out phone calls, and those phone calls are lasting 60 seconds, and your conversion action is set to 60 seconds. That's why we're getting conversions. But I'm telling you, when they call me, it's not, or when they fill out the form, it's not people who end up hiring me. I'd like to look at the search terms with you and review that and focus on deeper in the funnel search terms. They don't understand. They don't know how to communicate that to the dumb robotic person because they're not dumb robotic people. And the other problem, Chris, is the dumb robotic person does not have business experience and life experience. A lot of people in this job working for agencies are very young because they're very cheap. And that's why they're working there, and people have hired them. They go a mile deep and an inch wide into Google Ads. They understand how to speak the language. They understand the platform, but they've never made payroll. They never signed the front of a check, and they don't understand business. You know what I'm saying, Chris? They don't understand business. Yeah. So how are they going to talk with the 30, 40, 50, 60-year-old business owner about the business owner's clients and customers? Yeah. There's just a freaking disconnect there. And my advice to the advertisers out there, if you run into this situation, give it one attempt, explain this to the people you're working with. And if they don't get this, that the conversions can come in and show us conversions, but they don't actually equate to business, and they can't figure out how to fix that, or even if they don't even figure out, they don't even understand what you're telling them, then you're doomed with this company you're working with, and it'll never work. And so my advice is move on. But this has caused a lot of stress for a lot of advertisers. And I think, to be fair to the dumb robotic 24-year-olds, it causes stress for them too, because they think conversion should mean praise and accolades, just like they've gotten their entire life.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Jason, I love to tell stories, because I think, a lot of people that listen to this podcast are Google Ads managers like us. I know we have a lot of agencies that listen, and one of the stories I want to share is I got reached out to by a company, a big college, okay, big name college, and they had a company that was running Google Ads for them, and it was amazing. They were getting so much traffic. They were getting tons and tons of clicks, tons and tons of conversions. And I looked at their account, and audited their account, and I immediately thought, I thought, holy cow, I can't take this. I can't improve this. I mean, this is beautiful. Then, just like you said, I opened up my eyes a little and looked around and realized it was absolute crap traffic, junk, cheap traffic,
Wow.
which we know is very easy to get in Google. And they had bullcrap conversions turned on, right? Like pages viewed, time on site.
1 second phone call threshold.
They weren't taking phone calls, but it was things like when they reached a certain page, they would count it as a conversion. Just beautiful conversion numbers. But
many instead of one, even though it's lead gen.
And so what I did was I said, here's what I'm going to give you. I'm going to give you cost per clicks that are about 10 times higher, 20 times higher. I'm going to give you almost zilch on conversion numbers. You're going to get almost no conversions.
Sounds great. Keep going.
And
you're lucky you're handsome.
And you're going to get a fraction of the traffic that you're getting now.
You're
right?
really handsome. We're still on the phone.
There we go. And that's what I'm going to do. And Jason, they've been with me for years. They are so much happier with...
You listen to them.
Yeah. Because I said, all of this is just numbers on a screen. It means nothing to you. Let's wipe it. The real value of traffic comes with a price, and you're going to have to pay the price of that traffic. And that's what we did, and it's worked great. So,
by the way, if you pay that price, it's more effective advertising than anything you can do out there. And you can probably easily get a 4 or 5, to bring it around circle here, whatever, a big fat ROAS on that expensive traffic, because it is so quality.
Yeah.
Chris, one final thing I'll put out there is just people need to remember that you get to choose who you work with in this world. So if you're at an agency, you're around a lot of dumb robotic people, but you're one of the superstars and you're not dumb and robotic, but your boss is, look at other agencies. You're an advertiser and you've been working with someone for a while and you're a little hesitant about trying to find someone new, but you just know some of the things we said today connected. And you're like, yeah, I need to move. It's a big world out there. There's a lot of people. Yeah. And I think, Chris, stress can come in all areas of life from people. And so one of the outlooks I've been taking lately is I've realized that certain people have caused me a lot of stress, and I get them out of my life. And alternatively, I've also gone in the other direction. I think you might have noticed this personally in our relationship. People who don't cause me stress and that I like, man, do I try to just make their world perfect to keep them in my world. So that's the outlook I've been taking lately in Google Ads and outside to Google Ads, and it's been working tremendously. And Chris, you're a great podcast partner. We've been doing this for many years. It is because you're a great person, and I appreciate working with you so much. So I just wanted to share that. And it'd be kind of awkward if this was one of the moments where you go, I have nothing to add, and you don't give that back to me. But we all know you're limited in certain areas with feelings and emotions. So we're not going to put any pressure on you. Okay. And I'm just going to pitch it to you now. Where can people reach you for Google Ads consulting and management?
Jason, you're definitely someone I like. And
thanks.
For those of you
that's going to mess him up for 3 weeks.
Yeah, it was rough to get through. If you guys would like to like me a little more, you can hit my like button at chrisschaefer.com, and we can do a live session together. I now offer, if you're interested, video, screen sharing as well as a face cam for my live consulting sessions. So you can see.
You've been doing the screen sharing, just to clarify, and now
Been
you're
doing the
adding.
screen sharing for many years, but now you get to see my face.
See how
Wow.
handsome he truly is.
Yeah, that comes at a very steep price, but many are willing to pay it.
Thanks, Chris. And I'm at rothmanppc.com for Google Ads consulting and management. Thanks for being here, everybody, and we will see you next week on the Paid Search Podcast.